everybody. Congratulations. Today is day 10 of the Intermittent Fasting Raw Food Challenge. If you've gone this far, pat yourself on the back because you have accomplished something very special. You know, water-only fasting is a whole nother animal out there, but if you've gone 10 days and you've been on raw food and you've been doing the intermittent fasting, 11 to 7, you're doing great and I'm proud of you. I've heard a lot of people that have dropped out, and that's okay. You know, we're not going to judge anybody. Even if you do 5 days, you're still doing a good job. You're still baby stepping it. I recommend that you always look at your life. Hopefully you can incorporate intermittent fasting into your daily routine and reducing your caloric intake. Let me just go over what the benefits are, again, of intermittent fasting. When you look at the root cause of disease, you look at the amount of chemicals and toxins that are coming into the body on a daily basis. Let's say you have 2 million harmful things coming into your body every single day. Well, your body can only process 1 million things every day and eliminate 1 million things every day because most people, their elimination routes are blocked or shut down. And that means they're not urinating enough. They're not having enough bowel movements. They're not sweating enough. They're not respirating enough. And women's menstrual cycles for women have 5 elimination routes and men have 4 elimination routes. Their menstrual cycles aren't working efficiently. So when you have all that stuff coming in the body and you're not getting it out of the body, then you create toxemia, or you create all this toxic buildup within the system. And when you create all that toxic buildup in the system, that's the root cause of symptoms. That's the root cause of you getting some sort of disease. So how does water-only fasting and how does intermittent fasting help that? Well, how do you get all those chemicals and toxins in your body to begin with? You either breathe them in, which maybe 5 or 10% of the toxins that you take in on a daily basis come from you breathing them in. The majority, 90% of those chemicals and toxins that come into your body every single day are going to be through the food that you eat and through the beverages that you drink. So if you're doing intermittent fasting, you're not going to be taking in as much. That's number one. Number two, when you look at the root cause of all disease or negative health problems, you have to look at energy in the system. And this is fairly, well, the old doctors a long time ago used to talk about this all the time, is that how much energy the digestive process takes. And I've mentioned this multiple times on my videos, is that if you were to have somebody, the sick, unhealthy person that you know that eats at McDonald's 3 times a day, drinks a bottle of wine every single day, they're going downhill every single day because the amount of energy that it takes to break down one meal, one McDonald's meal, or let's just say one fast food meal, can take up to 48 hours, 72 hours of your body's energy stores. So if you take 2 meals, 3 meals, you're actually going into the negative. So you need energy reserves in your body for your immune system to work really good, for your body to repair and regenerate. The situation that we have today in America with the healthcare crisis is we are not being taught how to regenerate. We are degenerating. And the reason is we're taking too many of our energy stores are being utilized in the digestive process. That's why it's so important to keep your gut clean. And that's why it's so important to keep your liver clean, or your whole body clean. Because the cleaner your body is, the cleaner you eat, the better off you're going to be, and you're going to be conserving that energy for your regeneration phase. So the benefits of intermittent fasting are, we're doing research right now on the effects of autophagy, which is the cellular regeneration, where your body attacks all of its abnormal tissue. There are, according to some scientists right now, evidence that even exercise, which we never knew before, might actually be involved in autophagy. Water-only fasting is what we originally thought was the original and the only way to turn the digestive system completely off. That's why water-only fasting is so beneficial, because there's nothing. After 72 hours, when your digestive system completely shuts down, and the only thing that you're putting in is water, then your body goes into a rapid phase of just attacking and chewing up all of the abnormal tissue and regenerating and producing stem cells. But intermittent fasting can also have incredible benefits the same. Your body is allowed to heal itself. Your body is allowed to detoxify finally. And everybody is different. There's not one specific area the body's going to focus on at any given time. That's what disease all boils down to. That's why everybody out there doesn't have cancer, or everybody has heart disease, or everybody has rheumatoid arthritis. The body picks and chooses a weak link, whether it's genetic, it ran in the family, or something that's been injured or harmed in the body over the years. And that's what the body focuses on. If you have a weak cardiovascular system and you have all these chemicals and toxins coming into your system every single day, well, they're going to be deposited in the cardiovascular system. That's when you start getting all the plaquing of the arteries. If you have arthritis, your toxins are going to be dumped in the joint tissue. If you have bowel problems, which the majority of people have in the United States and around the world, then yes, that's the first exposure point to the chemicals and the toxins. So it all boils down to looking at the root cause of why you have just the energy system there. So that's why I kind of wanted to introduce this intermittent fasting program, so you can reduce the amount of food that you're putting in your body. If you do that, if you reduce your caloric intake, or you start eating more raw foods, the live foods, the foods that contain lots of energy and power to help you heal your body, as opposed to dead or microwaved or processed foods, you're just stimulating your healing response. You're stimulating the regenerative process. And David has a quick question. Do you recommend doing a fast with only juices? I do. I do recommend any type of fasting because it's all going to be beneficial. You can go the extreme hardcore, which would be like an Ironman competition. So let's just compare that to an Ironman, which is a marathon, 26-mile run. I don't know how many miles. They bike 100 miles and swim like 1.5 miles or something like that. That takes a lot of training to get up to that point. And that's, extremely beneficial. Your body's going to be in pretty good shape right there. But that doesn't mean your body's not going to be in good shape if you do 15 or 20 minutes of exercise every day either. So if you want to do a juice fast, as a matter of fact, there were a lot of very successful juice fasting programs that were launched in the 1900s. You had the Gerson juicing method. You had the lady from Europe, I can't remember what her name was, but she's the one that invented the grape fast, the grape juice fast, and she actually allowed you to eat grapes with it. Then you had a doctor very successful doctor, I think he was up in New York, that did the orange juice fast, and he had all kinds of success with that. I've heard of apple juice fasting, green juice fasting, superfood fasting. It's not technically fasting because the definition of fasting is abstinence from food. Okay, that's the actual definition. But you can consider that in a way a method of fasting. So that would that would be Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, that documentary film where the guy, I forgot how long he fasted on juices. I think it was 28 days or longer than that. Maybe it was a few months. But fasting is gaining in popularity, and you're going to start seeing more and more and more benefits of intermittent fasting, water-only fasting. There's a real popular, trendy fast that's going around right now called the 5-2, where you eat for 5 days and then you fast for 2 days. There's the 1 day on, 1 day off fasting, where you do a water fast for 24 hours. There's the 1 day a week water fast, where you just fast on water for 24 hours, 1 day of the week. I like to, after my 18-day water-only fast, I think I will do a long water-only fast every year. But I think that as long as you're doing some intermittent fasting and you're choosing the right foods to eat on a daily basis, that's really the most important thing. I mean, what we're finding now is, let's just say in ancient days or thousands of years ago or whenever, we don't really know for sure a lot of that history. We can't prove a lot of that history, but I would say people would go 2 or 3 days without meals. I mean, and then they would eat something and then go maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days again without another meal. So it's completely healthy. And we know now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we know for a fact that water-only fasting, even 5 days, even 3 days, that's a study by USC, will regenerate the immune system. I mean, I am still amazed when I read that study that 72 hours of water only will produce immune stem cells. I mean, how in the world are you ever going to do that? I mean, there's no other way that I know of, except for maybe getting stem cell treatment done in a clinic somewhere. One interesting fact that I'd like to talk about is in ancient Greece, Pythagoras, the legendary Greek philosopher and mathematician who lived more than 2,500 years ago, was a big promoter of water-only fasting. And Pythagoras fasted on water for 40 days. And this was very interesting because a lot of mental changes, spiritual changes happen when you're fasting. In order to enroll in Pythagoras' classes, as a student of his, he required all of his students to fast for 40 days as well. Now, if anybody out there is watching, I don't want to just say anybody can do a water-only fast, because you really should be medically supervised, do a medically supervised water-only fast, especially if you're in poor health and you have any prescription medications that you're taking, because a lot of the things happen within the first 3 days if you're doing a water-only fast. So one of my heroes, Paracelsus, one of the ones that I studied alchemy under, which is the basis of all chemistry, he was big into fasting, and that would activate his physician within, he used to say. So fasting was widely used in Babylon, in Greece, Rome, India, Persia. I mean, as Scandinavia, ancient China, Egypt, all of that stuff. There's even records dating back 500 years before Christ, and history records that say all disease comes from food. So I would back that up, that all disease, I would definitely say all disease comes from food, but I would also incorporate stress, negative emotional patterns, electromagnetic frequencies, which, by the way, I want to do a show on that, on the harmful effects of all of the microwave energy, the 5G that's coming in. If you haven't looked into 5G, please take 30 minutes and go online and type in 5G dangerous, 5G toxic, and and go look and start doing the research. This is exactly what the governments and everybody are going to be putting on us. And it's extremely scary when you look at it. Although, you know me, I'm always a man of hope. I'm always try to look at the positive in everything, but you also have to know what's going on. You have to know you have to be aware. Your brain has to be open. You have to be open to all possibilities. And then discern on your own whether or not you believe that or not, or whether or not that's the truth. So, there's been a lot of fruit fasts as well. People just eating fruit for long periods of time, and that helps out. I mean, just remember, just try to keep it as simple as possible. Anything that's alive that comes from the earth is going to be, as long as it's organic, is going to be healthy and life-giving. It's going to help give you life and help promote good health, as opposed to anything that's dead, cooked, processed, sprayed with pesticides, insecticides, genetically modified, blah, blah, blah. So that's it for today's update. Thank you for all of your questions. I wanted to stick a little bit more on topic today for the intermittent fasting and kind of go a little bit more into, the benefits of raw foods. And to keep it simple with that, the benefit of raw food is it's alive. Dead food is dead. I mean, that's all you have to say about it. I mean, it's not rocket science. I hope all of you out there continue to take steps every single day to better your health. It's very sad what's happening to the children, because children are being put on medications. 2-year-olds are being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I mean, how on earth are you going to diagnose a 2-year-old for having a temper tantrum? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And this is our next generation. So for all the parents out there especially, maybe I should do a show on, how to raise your children organically or something like that, because do the best. That's going to be the future leaders of this country. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. And until next time, live healthy.